Hi everybody, I'm Keaton Evans with Brandon Harvey, bringing you the fabulous 4th episode of the Journal. 4th, quite clearly representing the number 4. Brandon, do you agree that the word 4th represents the number 4?
Yes I do.
Great, okay. Now that we've agreed on that, we have a great show today with some amazing segments. And thank you very much for tuning in live at the Center for Creative Communications.
Today we'll feature stories such as topics as after graduation, indoor soccer, the musical method known as circuit bending, the beautiful sound of church bells, and a story revealing the human side of a comedian.
I'm certainly excited. School, a place full of learning, people, humans, books, and things made of matter that are governed by the laws of physics. And a place where people that we like to call students will eventually graduate from. So let's begin with Alex Smith's story that's about life after graduating. Enjoy.
It all starts off with an ambition. I want to be a filmmaker. Then followed with enrollment to a film school. Such was my decision as I contemplated life after high school. But as graduation gets ever closer, the fear has come over me. What is life like in the field? Are jobs readily available? To help fight this fear, I talked to a friend of mine, a person who's recently graduated.
My name is Lucas Kurek. I'm a graduate of Humber College's Film and Television program of 2009, and I'm currently working as a video and sound editor. Well, I took a look at a bunch of different schools, and I actually took a couple classes at Humber early on just to get the feel of it, and it was a good fit, so I decided I would take the full-length program, and it turned out to be a really good deal. When I was a little kid, 4 or 5 years old, whenever I read books or saw a movie, I always imagined what I'd do with those characters, or what kind of stories I'd think up. Well, since graduation, I've realized it's a really tough business, tougher than I really thought originally. When you're in film school, it's fun. You get to practice a lot of what's going to happen, and you actually get to make films, which is great, but a lot of the education that you do receive in your career is out there in the field, and you just have to experience it. No film school is going to prepare you. You just got to keep hustling. You got to keep getting yourself out there, keep looking for jobs, keep doing as many projects as you can. Since graduation, I've done a lot of documentary work, editing, assistant editing, and a lot of post sound on short films. And those are challenges in and of themselves. Every different project produces a different sort of challenge, whether you're going for the right take or you're trying to cut together an interview. The collective that I'm part of, Real Wolf Productions, started last year, and it started off a music video that we did, and we started doing another one, and it started branching off into short films and documentary work, and it eventually became a brand that we're all a part of.
I next asked Lucas about where he sees himself in the future and what advice he has for up-and-coming graduates.
I see myself probably just continuing with the video and sound editing and making a working career out of it and trying to get involved in as many projects as I can. And I also have a passion for directing documentaries, which I hope to continue and work on my own films. For those who are graduating, my word of warning is it's tough, and my advice is just keep plugging away. If you have a passion for something, you're probably going to do well in it. Just keep practicing your craft, keep making films, and just don't get discouraged.
After chatting with Lucas, a lot of my own fears have been cast aside. It's clear that if you're dedicated, that you can succeed in the post-grad film world. Alex Smith, The Journal.
I hope you took some of those lessons to heart, Keaton. I certainly did. Up next, a high-octane piece about the intriguing world of indoor soccer, or as I like to call it, interior foot blasting with other human competitors. Let's take a look.
Here at Nelson Boylan Collegiate Institute, a winter-long futsal league called Atletico Ecuador takes place every weekend. Futsal is a sport growing in popularity here in the Greater Toronto area. There are 9 teams with talented soccer players under the age of 21. They come from all over the GTA to play in Atletico Ecuador. Futsal is played with a slightly smaller but heavier ball that absorbs the hardwood of the floor. 5 players on each side of the court, including a goalie and a referee that looks like Kevin Spacey. Today, we interview former Toronto FC reserve player Kendrick Morales with his thoughts on futsal and his experience with Toronto FC of Major League Soccer.
My name is Kendrick Morales and I play center mid for Ricardo Vega. I started playing soccer when I was 6 in the Spanish league here in Toronto. My soccer hero is Zinedine Zidane because when I first started watching, he was on Real Madrid and it was the Galactico years, and he was just amazing footwork and his passes were always perfect. Well, my dream is to play in Europe, but I'd like to take the steps to go to Europe, from Central America to North America to Europe.
I asked Kendrick on his experience with Toronto FC and what their efforts are in scouting young local talent.
Well, on the Toronto FC reserve team, it was really, everyone was in a high level of competition. Everyone was fighting for a spot on the team. I think Toronto FC doesn't give a lot of opportunities. MLS in general don't give a lot of opportunities to the youth because they don't really scout players in different areas, like where there's mostly more talent. Like for example, I live in Brampton and I know a lot of players who are very talented and that can play in any high level competition of soccer, but people don't recognize and they don't come here and look at players, and it's a sad thing because there's a lot of talent wasted.
Kendrick's team, Ricardo Vega FC, played against the top team in the league, Inter FC. Ricardo Vega started off sloppy, and Inter FC were in the driver's seat for most of the game, scoring back-to-back goals, taking advantage of Ricardo Vega's lack of chemistry. With the score 5-1 at the half, you could probably put a fork in this game because it's done. Oh, but hold on a second here. Kendrick and Ricardo Vega FC refused to go quietly into the night. They exploded in the second half, executing plays and getting multiple chances, firing on all cylinders. But in the end, it was a little too late. 7-6 was the final score for Inter FC.
Futsal, I like it because it's a smaller place, less area to do stuff, and it makes you bring out more skill out of you as your footwork, as in deeping, passing, and everything is quicker because it's a smaller field and less people, so there's a lot more technique involved. It takes a lot of talent to play futsal, more than 11 aside, because you need more skill, you need more talent to play futsal than normal soccer. The city should be like around the games where there's futsal because that's where the most talented players come and play, from Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, and it's every team in that league is good, and there will be at least 3 or 4 players that are really talented in each team.
And that's how the ball rolls. I'm Wayne Morales for the Dream.
My goodness, soccer. Thanks so much, Wayne. I just want to remind you guys to stay tuned for our live musical performance at the end of the show, featuring Joel and James, 2 great folk musicians. Now, if you're ready, the oft-bearded Keaton Evans will bring us into the world of circuit bending, a music genre played by living people. Let's look at that beard. So, as some of you may know, I'm a bit of a music aficionado. I love it all. Metal, blues, hip-hop, rock, everything, even mashups. So when I heard of a method of making music called circuit bending, I was pretty interested, and I wanted to figure out what it was all about. You never heard of it, though? Okay, here's a quick history. In the 60s, a man named Reed Ghazala was sitting at his desk when he accidentally knocked a toy amplifier into his desk drawer, which in turn touched another piece of metal, creating strange and unusual sounds. Now, Reed Ghazala was not the first circuit bender, but he is the most notable person in the community to uphold the philosophy. That philosophy being, well, depending on who you ask, the philosophy might be as simple as creating sounds not intended by the manufacturer. But if you ask some people, they might just tell you that there's a parallel universe within inside the circuit board, which isn't my own belief. See, ever since that one fatefully accidental day in Reed Ghazala's workshop, circuit benders have flocked to places all over the world, like Goodwill, Salvation Army, and even a Value Village. Why? Well, where a painter uses a brush to make a picture, circuit benders use defunct electronic equipment to make amazing music. Let's go see if we can find something. Hey, so just got home from Value Village, and I picked up on the cheap a couple little kids' toys that I'm gonna try circuit bending. One of the pieces that I got from Value Village is this little kids keyboard, and it's pretty crappy. I mean, it might be fun for, let's say, a 2 or 3 year old, which is who it's intended for, but today we're gonna make it, let's say, more of an adult instrument. Not all benders, as they like to call themselves, use children's toys. A lot of them might even use full-size electronic keyboards, most likely older keyboards, like from the 80s or early 90s. Those are really popular. Anyway, I've created myself a little workshop here. I've got everything I'm gonna need. I have my box of stuff. I have a soldering iron. I have solder remover. I have some second hands here to help me grip onto things. Even a voltage meter, just things I've collected over the years that I think might help me get some bends into these. So let's see what happens. The first thing you got to do with anything you want to circuit bend is obviously get to the circuitry. So you, as you can see, I've already taken some of the screws out. So you get in there, you just got to unscrew all the screws. This is our first inside look at the kids' little toy piano here. Let's get a better look at the circuit board here. So first of all, you've got this wire which connects the keys of the keyboard itself. You've got the obvious connections, the positive and the negative to the batteries here. And then you've got, it's hard to see underneath here, but right around here, all these would connect to sort of what would be the same idea as the CPU in your computer, or the main processor that sort of controls everything. One of the best ways to figure out what exactly you're gonna bend within the toy or electronic instrument itself is to simply just get a wire and get something continuous going. With this, you can't really do continuous because the sound ends after you release the key. So you want to get something like maybe the demo going and play a song. And then you just start connecting leads and see what happens. One of the parts that I really enjoy about circuit bending is the rush you kind of get from it. And I know it might sound stupid to people who haven't done this before, but you do get a rush out of just sort of throwing a wire like anywhere on a circuit board, and you really don't know what you're going to come out with, but you know it's going to sound cool. That sort of is a great visual example of the unexpectedness. The whole thing about circuit bending is that it was sort of an accidental art form. So let's get a song going and go from there. Now, one of the issues with a smaller circuit board like this is that there's only so far you can go. So a lot of the connections might do the same thing. Oh, there's a cool one. So, I'll play that again. So, this is it playing normally. And when we connect this, it starts to play things backwards. What I have here is a little on and off switch. Very simple. One way is off, one way is on. Basic. When you connect the two leads with something like a switch, it allows you to control when it goes on and when it goes off. I know it sounds really obvious, but to some it might not be. So in this case, we're going to connect the two leads that we found that reverse the audio that comes out of the speaker. So get your soldering iron. Myself, I have this one. It heats up really quick. Get yourself some solder, and preferably something like these little second hands here. That stuff's fun to do, but not fun to watch. Let's make some music to go along with this. We've just finished putting our connections in. When you have this switch on, the music plays backwards. So here's a sample of it playing normal. And when you flip this switch, everything starts playing backwards. Let's try it again. So there's it playing backwards. And there's it playing normal. One of the interesting things about circuit bending is that it could also be considered a form of civil disobedience. See, circuit bending also draws some of its influences from just wanting to disturb the status quo. It's like you're taking this perfectly good piece of musical equipment and tearing it apart just to create something new. But that is also the basis of civil disobedience, and to me, it's one of the large parts that I really like about circuit bending. This is the first piece that I ever finished. It's a Casio PT100. It was a really popular keyboard, and I really enjoy making circuit bent instruments. I hope that you learned something with me today. I'm gonna sign off now in hopes you'll look up some stuff on the net about circuit bending. Goodbye for the journal. I'm Keaton Evans. That was great, if I do say so myself. We're going to try out something new here, a new segment we like to call Keaton's Point of View.
Keaton, I think we may have our next hit single on our hands, but seriously, circuit bending looks more like a momentum than a GPO. Haha, pardon the political humor. Moving on, but staying musical, Tamas bedazzles us with the beautiful sounds of the soothing church bells and how they come to be. Tamas?
Hi, I'm Tamas reporting for the Journal, and today we're at the Metropolitan United Church at Queen and Church to check out one of Canada's largest sets of Carillonneur bells. 54 bells in total. We're going to go right upstairs to the bell tower to talk to the Carillonneur player himself, Gerald Martindale. Let's check it out.
My name is Gerald Martindale. I'm the Carillonneur of the Metropolitan United Church. So I play the carillon every Sunday morning from 10:30 to 11, and most weekdays informally on my own as well. A carillon is a set of at least 23 bells played from a mechanical keyboard and pedal board. Also, a carillon is a totally mechanical instrument. If there's an electric keyboard involved, it is not a real carillon. So a carillon is not a recording of bells. It's not a machine. It's not people pulling ropes. It's a real person playing a mechanical keyboard and pedal board. In 1922, we installed a set of 23 bells from England. And then in 1960, we added 12 bells from Holland. In 1971, 19 additional bells were added from France. So now we have a 54-bell carillon. The carillon originated in Holland and Belgium in the early 1600s. So they began to install a few bells in towers, and originally they were used to announce community events, like a time of war, a time of peace, perhaps a fire. And then people discovered if they added a few more bells, they could actually create music.
So Gerald here has agreed to give me a quick lesson on playing the carillon. We're going to play Ode to Joy. Let's do it.
All right, so the first note is E. Can you find E on the keyboard? That's right. Good. And remember, after you strike the baton, be sure to release it immediately.
Okay.
Otherwise, you dampen the sound of the bell.
Cool.
So could you try it out? Can you use both fists? Yes.
right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
That was great.
This is the Carillonneur practice keyboard. So hammers strike vertical tone bars to produce the sound. The advantage of the practice keyboard is that the sound stays in this room. So when you're learning a new piece, you're not disturbing the whole neighborhood. So I've been playing here for 13 years. It's one of the very few paid Carillonneur positions in Canada, one of only 5 that I know of. Well, the sound of bells is unique. It's something I very much appreciate. It's also interesting to know that when you're playing a carillon, you're playing for the whole neighborhood, because everyone around the church hears me play. So it's gratifying to know that you're bringing joy to many people all over the downtown core. There are very few carillons in the south of Europe, and very few in Canada. There are only 11 in all of Canada. It's also unique in that it was the first carillon to be built in North America.
After seeing truly what goes on inside the bell tower, we went back to lower ground to hear it from the outside. If you would like to hear these bells, the Metropolitan United Church is open from 12 to 3 p.m. on weekdays. This was Tamas for the Journal.
You can argue spirituality, but you cannot argue those bells. Those bells were good bells. Moving on from bells, comedy. Adrian Patterson brings us the personal side of the ones who make us laugh. Adrian?
Oh, hi. Here at the Journal, the broadcasting film students strive for excellence in the stories they want to share to you. Most of the time, we do succeed. Unfortunately, I failed in this case. The interview I had with my subject went terribly. Even though it went terribly, his story still needs to be told. Just letting you know from now, I'm sorry. Meet Chris Ari Gold. He's a mini entrepreneur who's ready to take the comedy world with his original name.
I actually stole it from Entourage because I sincerely believe that all of the best comedians steal things from other people. Like before Chris Ari Gold, my name was Jesus. Yes. Christ.
Before setting his eyes towards the comedy clubs, he spent most of his early years in the music industry.
Me and my friend, Cricket Man, we went to Atlanta. So as his manager, I would introduce myself to everybody as I'm Chris Ari Gold. It's just from saying that I was a manager, people would take everything a bit more serious because they're used to artists coming to them on a daily basis without any talent. I was a form of representation. They would take him a bit more serious. So I would go to DJs and I would go to them and say, play the song in the club during their set. And they would actually play the song. And the whole technique of being Chris Ari Gold, from trying to be like Ari on the show, it actually made us more successful as far as promotion, and we were able to network and make a lot of good connections. The month was a complete success. And I lost my virginity.
Chris Ari Gold grew tired of the music scene and wanted a change. During a McDonald's work outing in Wasaga Beach, he got drunk in front of his fellow employees. He got fired, but since then, he saw the light.
Am I bitter against McDonald's? You could call me the Burger King and how much I hate McDonald's. Because they broke my heart, man. They broke my heart. All it really did was distract me from what I really wanted to do. It played a huge role in me not being successful with music or being successful with DJing or anything, because I was spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, doing absolutely nothing. And I used that as the best opportunity to try to make light of the situation by making fun of it. And I really entertained the staff. A lot of my antics really entertained the staff. And that kind of gave me confidence as a comedian, because that's when I really started saying, not so much that I'm funny, but I'm entertaining.
One of the first sketches for his comedy label, Attention Horror, Chris Ari Gold went to midnight lineups for the latest Call of Duty game. As the abbreviation for the game is COD, he thought of selling COD for lower prices. Hilarity ensued.
The first thing that came to mind was thinking about pickup lines that I could use related to Call of Duty to see how many girls I could pick up. But then I realized that doesn't make sense with the non-Call of Duty related pickup lines, or even casual speech, because it just doesn't work when you look like me.
Now let's appreciate the comedic stylings of Chris Gold.
You should see my Tay Zonde impression. Chocolate rain. You should see my Yoda impression. Rain of chocolate. Brain power. I'm the Cat Stacks of the metaphorical world. Do you guys not watch worldstarhiphop.com? Because I know I do.
Look at my eyes. Look at my crazy eyes.
I haven't performed anywhere, anywise, including sexually.
Baby dick.
I'm not famous yet. I'm an attention whore, which means I want to be famous by any means necessary. Comes with practice. What are you gonna tell me next? Citizen Kane's a good movie? That's a keeper, right? He doesn't even know what Citizen Kane is. Just like he doesn't know what a book is.
I apologize once again for what you just saw, but I'll learn better next time. This is Adrian Patterson for the Journal.
Humorous, but also human. Comedic, but also connecting. Last, but also learning.
All right. Well, that's all the pieces we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed them. That's basically the entire point of the show. But stay tuned, because our live piece is about to hit the airwaves.
Please welcome our beautiful performers, Joel Sweet and James Mckie, here to perform Father's Song. Go ahead, guys.
Chance I'd take it all back. Them friends of yours ain't coming back. Time goes on and soon you'll learn a man is only what he's earned. But you never saw it coming your way. To your bones, getting every breath I take. I travel through the lonely road. Tell me now, boy, how have you been? Have you got drunk? What have you seen? Tell me now, boy, how's your mom? She still don't have a single flaw. But you never saw it coming your way. Your bones, forgetting every breath I take. I travel through the lonely road. reach Manitou Highlands. Feel it in the whistle and the wind. Waiting on a time to love. Waiting on a time to win.
That was amazing, guys. Now, how long have you guys been playing together?
It's about a month now.
You guys are really well put together, don't you think?
Yes,
You guys
absolutely.
absolutely kill it. Somebody needs to get you a record deal, like, immediately. Well, I mean, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Anyway, thank you guys so much. That was amazing. We all hope you enjoyed tuning into the Journal this week, and we encourage you to do so every week. Obviously, we can't come to your home and physically force you to do anything. That'd be ridiculous. We just do not know where you live. And remember to visit our blog at thejournalccc.tumblr.com.
Peace out, everybody.
Would you guys mind just playing us out?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.